Everyone, and welcome to Modern Problem, Modern Solutions. We have Adria here, whose topic. What was your topic again, Adria?
My topic is climate change and a concentration with fast fashion.
All right, who is McDonald over here?
I'm Kevin Donnelly, and my topic was on targeted advertising.
All right, and the gentleman down here, the Overlord here.
Yep, you can call me Possum Overlord, but my name's also Tristan Banks. My topic was on the negatives of de-extinction.
Gotcha. And all right, we made this podcast to kind of talk about how all of our topics they all had something to do with we all had something to do with like trying to make things better for the world, or how there's like some of these problems are outdated. Some of them are, there are more modern solutions to things more close to home, or things that are a little more far away, but still are problems in the world together. So we were talking about, how how the world has modern solutions and basically problems that either plague us still, or ones that have popped up from the new. And basically, we talked about how with the solutions that we can come with to make things better. All right. So who would like to start first?
I can go first. Talk about my problem if you want.
Gotcha. All right. So what was your problem? And explain us the basics of the problem so we can kind of discuss this.
Well, my issue was de-extinction, which by its name is like, you're basically going against extinction. It was the idea of bringing back long dead species to like try to create a thriving population of them in the wild.
Jurassic Park kind of style. I got you saying.
Yeah, and so my view though was that it's not a good idea to the modern problem of extinction. It's a solution, sure, but there's worries it might worsen extinctions, make things harder.
I got what you're saying. I mean, I've always seen like something like that. They bring over some species to some other country and they make things up. So that is a good point. It's bringing something back that's been long dead may it may not have been thriving then, but now it's thriving now. Might mess up the whole ecosystem and stuff. I get what you're saying.
So that's the prevalent issue with it at the time.
I got you. All right. Well, see. Is there anything else you'd like to? So in your paper though, what were some of the examples that you brought forward, or some of the citations that you might have brought?
Well, one of the key examples I brought forward was a paper that talked about like the money that would actually have to go into this. And a good point that it made was, if you try to bring back even one species, the money that's necessary to do that could in turn have been used to say conserve like 7 other species. And it put a point at that, you bring back one creature, you have to use a lot of money just to do that, whereas you could conserve species that are already still alive and are threatened. And I use that as a heavy basis on the cons of it.
But I get what you're saying, though. Definitely. You know what I mean? And it's like, especially like when you bring back other species, the other species that are still struggling now are struggling. They don't get the attention they need.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any comments for that kind of thing? Alright, so I guess the host will do my topic next. My topic was on child soldiers, though. So it was kind of a subject that's not quite close to home. Because here in the United States, we don't really have that kind of problem. But down there in Africa and the Middle East and all sorts of other places like that, child soldiers are a very, very common thing, sadly. Like young boys and girls sometimes who have to lose everything. They have to go out and fight because people are attacking them. That, or they get conscripted into these armies. They have like these raiders coming in the middle of the night, and they take these kids to go off and fight their battles. One of the most notable places was Uganda, but there are many other places that this kind of thing happens. So now I was talking about how this has been a thing that was on our history for centuries, but it's something that doesn't need to exist anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's a serious issue, and we've seen it in the past, but that was the past. It shouldn't really be happening anymore.
One interesting citation I found though was definitely that apparently Andrew Jackson was actually a child soldier during the Revolutionary War. You know, there was pull up my papers here. Let's see here. But essentially, there was a soldier, a British soldier that was like, because he was orphaned by this point, you know, and there's a British soldier that wanted to or basically told him to clean his boots, you know, because he was Andrew was caught as a rebel, you know, and so what's the word? A second. And so he told him to clean his boots, kind of an insult to him. And when Jackson refused, he hit him with the flat end of his sword. You know, and that's when. And after that point, he joined the other rebels and became a soldier at the age of 13. You know, and there's a little bit of history in the Western world, but I mean, most of the time I would talk about like young kids, like this little girl Jola. You know, she was like one of my citations. They basically kidnapped her. Basically find where all the radios were and like this the radios that would warn that the LRA or basically the Lord's Resistance Army was coming, you know, and they basically kidnapped her to tell her where all the radios were, but she played it cool and she said that she didn't know where any of them are because you know she thought it'd be better and safer if she played dumb and stuff, you know, and so there's all sorts
that's
of
so interesting.
It is, but I mean there's like it's just such it's something that no kid should be able to go through. Some man with an AK-47 pointing a gun to their head, you know, telling them what to do, and you know, go kill that person. You know, it's just something that no kid should do. It's a stolen childhood. You know.
Yeah, that's really sad to hear. That's happening in other parts of the world that we don't even know about, but they're happening.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we're gonna talk about more solutions later on. Adria, why don't you tell us your
All right. Well, my problem that I researched about was climate change, but I mainly concentrated about fast fashion and how it's affecting the climate.
It's a very popular topic. A very important one too.
Yes, recently it's becoming even more popular because fast fashion is everywhere. Most of the clothes we buy is fast fashion.
Back in the 80s, there was like a hairspray or something like that was causing a layer to ozone. Was that part of your citations at all?
I didn't hear about that, but it's interesting to know.
Yeah, it is. Tell us something about your citations and like some of the things you talked about.
Well, I mostly talk about how the production is affecting with like greenhouses gases, and the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it? I'm sorry, I forget names. What was our time again?
Time right now we still got 6 minutes, like 30 seconds and counting.
6 minutes left, or
we have like 6 minutes left, so we still have time to keep going.
Okay. All right, just making sure we're keeping on track. But all right. So anyway, these problems are kind of spread out, but there's still issues that plague our world. You know, there's still issues that plague people today. You know, and every single one of them is very, very important. So I guess kind of put this in perspective. What are some of the solutions that we argued during our papers? You know, I mean, I argued that one of the things that we should do is try to what's the word? My big paper things here. Let's see. One of my solutions though was to kind of like have more U.S. intervention, that are not to fund certain countries that practice child soldiers, because we do fund a lot of money to countries around this place, and a lot in the Congress and all these things, they do often like put a blind eye for one reason or another, whether it be a good or bad reason. But I think one of the ways we can stop this is basically like uphold the civil rights of these children by not giving money to these countries and not openly supporting them, and also maybe supporting or maybe sometimes even directly intervene, or if that's too much, send in rescue teams where go and liberate these kids and bring them back. And also making amendments to the Child Status Protection Act, which dictates who considers what is considered a child and what protections they get. And those were some of the solutions I brought up. Yeah.
Well, my solutions for my topic, which was targeted advertising, would probably be a bit more close to home than
Definitely.
Jacob's solutions, which would be all over the world. Well,
Yeah.
targeted advertising, the big thing that my research talked about is how you really lose control when these big companies can collect so much data about you. And big thing is, pull up a source here, 73% of people did not know that a website that they were using was sharing their data. That really shows how if you use one website, you actually end up using multiple websites because your data gets shared and now they know who you are, and like you can be tracked website to website. So rather than using separate websites, in reality, you're just kind of using one massive monopoly of websites. And that was a really big tie into the solution to my problem. Breaking up these very large social media companies, they have so much control across websites that they don't even belong to. So breaking stuff up like that is definitely something that would hope to curb the amount of data that they have on you. And when they have less data on you, they'll have a lot harder time trying to track you across different websites and try and, show you ads that you think you want because of information that you've given on other websites. So it's really trying to break up, the amount of just reach that these companies have would definitely make targeted advertising a lot better for people.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know how you feel. I go to one website and suddenly I'm getting 1,000 ads for that exact same website on like so many other sites.
Yeah, no, it's bad. You look up how to cook a cake one time, and next thing you know, you're getting like offered all
Cake ads
these.
everywhere.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's like the meme. Everything is cake. That's just what happens when you look at it one time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Anyway, Tristan, tell us about yours.
My solution was, I think just kind of focus more on conservation of current species. Like, as much as I love animals, as much as I think it'd be cool to see a mammoth walking around, I know it wouldn't be good for the environment. Wouldn't be awesome. It'd be awesome, but it wouldn't be okay. I don't need a Jurassic Park situation,
Yeah, we don't want no dinosaurs walking around. We saw how well that worked out.
Luckily, we got a long way for that to even thought of. But really, I think we just need to focus on conserving the animals we have, trying to work to protect them, and focus we need to learn from the past, focus on the present to make a better future. That's what I generally view that we just need to do. Nothing grand.
Straight. All right, Adrian. Archer.
All right. Well, I talked about I don't think that fast fashion is gonna go away, but we can reduce our supply by buying less, because most of clothes end up in landfills, so in the trash. So buying what we need and no excessive buying, is you know what I mean. And yeah, and I also talk about how micro let me see, the microfibers that are synthetic fibers from clothing end up in the ocean whenever we wash our clothes. So try to wash our clothes in large amounts of clothing instead of small loads. Yeah.
Well, we have less than a minute, y'all. But this is an awesome talk, really. And these are all. Hopefully, one day these solutions will be brought into place. Some politicians sees them. You know how it is. But hopefully, one day we'll come to these conclusions. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you for listening to the podcast. Y'all have a nice night.